The fit, like whatever you're wearing, it is completed by one specific item, which completes the fit.
What?
You know what that is? Shoes. The shoes complete the fit. And the man that's responsible for putting the fit together, for helping you complete your fit, and not with just some any average off the wall, off the retail, whatever type of shoe that you can order on whatever. This is a 1-of-1, right? Maybe a 2-of-1 if you're lucky enough. But custom shoes, man, custom kicks to complete your custom fit. And you know what? So back in the day, you may not know this. At the end of a letter, even they do it now maybe, at the end of the letter, they always write PS, right? And then a final note. That means that whatever you read in this letter, PS, don't forget this last statement I want you to walk away with, right?
Okay.
You may be sitting here asking me, who are you asking about, right? I'm talking about the one, the only, PS and who.
Oh Kiddan! Yo, what up, people? Hello, namaste, kam cho, assalamu alaikum, and sat sri akal. What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Oh Kiddan podcast. I am your host, Tej, and we have Tej's Pops back with us.
Tej's Pops. That's all I'm known as. I have no other name except Tej's Pops. This is the first ever episode with our first ever esteemed guest, my man, my brother, Puneet. Let's bring it in, man. My man.
Thank you so much.
We got to do
so much for the introduction. Oh, wow.
Sir.
Hey, look
Yes,
at that.
sir.
That's
the little father-son handshake.
Like it.
Try to do. Man, Puneet, we want to thank you for
Listen, I'm honored to be able to be a part of what you guys have going on. You know, this is something which I can't even fathom. I'm actually here, part of this.
What has been your biggest learning moment in this journey?
Okay, so this is something which I tell all my students. So not only do I make the shoes, I also teach classes, one-on-one classes. I've taught classes at FIT. I've taught group sessions as well. And one thing which I tell all my personal students is ironic to what Iverson said, but practice. So
we talking about practice.
we are talking about practice. So the truth of the matter is, and I tell this to everyone, I have no shame in it because I'm a perfectionist. And if you can see the quality. When I learned how to make a shoe and I taught myself how to make the shoe, the first time I started stitching so bad, it took me 16 tries. I made 16 of these where I was satisfied with to get to the next step of lasting. That process right there is called lasting.
Okay.
Putting it onto the last and stretching it. It took me 8 or 9 tries of lasting it to get it proper and straight, where I felt I was comfortable finally to try putting on 6 tries, putting on a sole where I was satisfied. 16 plus 8 or 9.
Wow.
That's how many failed attempts.
So 20 plus, about 21, 22. That's incredible. What do we always talk about? Whether it's shoes, whether it's basketball, whether it's whatever in life, cooking, we always talk about what? The same thing. This is the coach in me. You know what it is?
Practice makes.
No. R, starts with R.
Oh, RBA.
No. Come on now. I know it's late. Reps.
Oh,
Reps. Everything comes down to reps, right? And reps, the more reps you put in, the better you get at that craft. Whatever it is, right? Whether it's podcast episodes, whether it's, right, lasting, everything, stitching, all that.
One of my I guess inspirations, two sneaker customizers. I'd met at an event in Hype Beast, which was in New York, Hype Fest actually. They're probably, I could say they're kind of like the originators of this industry. 2 of the 3 at least. 2 of the 4. They actually had given me some advice when I first started. And they're like, regardless of how good you get, once a week, if not every day, cut 3 shapes: circle, a square, and a triangle. Just stitch the outside to the middle, trying to get the spacing exactly. Now they're like, we still do this once a week at least. And that's what made me realize that if they've been doing this for 10 plus years, they'll do this every week. There's a reason. Don't practice, and I can testify to this. When I take a week off or 2 weeks off, whether it's when I broke my thumb or when I had other injuries and I couldn't stitch, first shoot I worked on after that, always had to always something was off. The stitching would be wrong. There would be it'd be wavy. It just wouldn't come out clean.
So you know what that means? Fundamentals. Let's stick to the fundamental, right? Form shooting, anything you do, fundamental. So that's the fundamental, right? Circle, square, triangle. So that's awesome, man. That's a great lesson. It's a great lesson. Sir, anything else?
Yep.
What else you got?
So my next question. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone starting out?
Don't be afraid to mess up. I think this is advice when I left med school as well, and I finally decided to 2021 decided to make this. A good friend of mine who also left med school, he kind of gave me this advice. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You fail, you move on, you find something else, or another door will open. But I would definitely say don't be afraid to mess up. You only get it right if you make that.
That's a life lesson.
Yep.
Hey, do you make your students call you Dr. Who?
No, not at all. It's
Dr. Soul.
It's funny because so I told you 2 out of the 3 had given me that advice. The main person who's cream of the crop of this his Instagram is actually the shoe surgeon.
Okay.
And when I got into this, I was like, damn, man. That should have been my name. After going through med school and now making shoes, right. I was like, damn, I wish I had that name. But, even kind of think about it, when we started this, even saying Dr. Souls, I was like, damn, that wouldn't have been a bad idea either. If I had met you guys at that time, I probably would have ran with that one.
No, we're glad to help provide a little bit of creativity to your, right, just a little tip of the iceberg. So, can I ask you about some of those shoes back there? Because we talked about the Dior, talked about the one with the green J's, the one on top of that with the yellow laces,
right?
The J with the fusion, right?
Yep.
What was the inspiration behind that?
So, there's another streetwear brand called Union LA. It's based out of Los Angeles. They've done multiple collabs with Jordan Brand now. Okay. Their first collab with Jordan Brand was that silhouette, not that colorway, but that whole style of doing a split. They had 2 shoes which came out. I wasn't able to get either one of them. One was called the Storm Blues, where the bottom of it with red on this one was actually blue, and that was based on the Kentucky Jordan 1. Top half, I believe, red? Yeah, red. Okay. And it was based off of the black and red Jordan 1s. Or the bread. It was a combination of those. The other one, which was called, I want to say the Shadows. I can't remember now. I forgot the other one's, the colorway's name. But that was based off of the white and gray pair, the neutral grays. The top was white and gray. Bottom was based off the black toes. So it had red in the front and had black at the, black in the front, black and white in the front, and red as the heel.
Oh, okay.
So when I saw that shoe, I was like, you know what? It'd be cool if someone did a third colorway, which is Chicago Jordan 1, red, white, and black, and the Royals, which is black and so I'll put that one.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that different from the rest of these, the stitching on that is definitely different from a lot of these ones here.
Yep. So that one is like I said, it's a trademark kind of for that silhouette. That original Jordan 1 design, they just came out with another Jordan 1, which used it with a different shoe. But again, it's creative that they're trying to think a little bit outside the box. Actually, I know the designer who was behind that, Frank Cook. I spoke to him about it. And yeah, it was pretty much they were trying to do something a little different. Felt like that zigzag, felt like that whole Frankenstein kind of look. Yeah. And then using yellow was just a color which popped. So the edges, they painted all the edges yellow. They gave yellow shoelaces. They actually have 3 shoelaces in there. One's yellow and one's a split. Okay. So the front half is like a creamish beige,
Hmm.
and then the second half is black.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so they tried to make the whole shoe kind of look like a,
Ah.
and it works really well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those pop. Nice. Sorry, you have anything else?
Yep. So, where is the shoe game headed? Like trends and stuff.
Oh man, the shoe game right now is at its all time.
Oh.
Reselling sneakers is the best time to be a collector because shoes are really cheap.
Okay.
Luckily, customs is an industry which is still growing and I would say, you know, pretty, I wouldn't say booming as much, but it's there, it's steady.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it's gotten very saturated in the last 2 years, especially because, you know, the influences of, you know, creative minds out there like Union, like Virgil Abloh, like Travis Scott even. It's definitely gotten more saturated. I think when I started making shoes 5-6 years ago, there was maybe a handful of people who could do it.
Hmm.
Now there's a handful in almost every major city.
Hmm.
You know?
Okay.
So it's definitely gotten more saturated.
Interesting. Interesting. So it's a good time to be a collector versus a seller, I guess, right? So these shoes right here in front of me. Now this is a very Punjabi touch, right? For our non-Punjabis, our non-Desis. This pattern is called a fulkari, right? A fulkari is a very, very, very popular pattern back in Punjab, especially for women's chunniya, right?
Yeah.
Their suits.
Look, nowadays unisex, to be honest.
Yeah.
I saw the trend a few years ago where, you know, guys would wear black kurta pajama, simple kurta pajama, jago, and they'll have a fulkari going diagonal across them. No idea when this trend started, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
It used to be exclusively for women, right? But now it's as you said, unisex, right? You got the high tops, and the low tops.
So this is another shoe which I haven't. It's a first time ever seeing, you know, showing off. I mean,
right.
The low tops also. I just finished these, you know, 2 weeks ago. High tops I finished last year.
Okay.
No, I just never posted it. But pretty much, you know, I had posted and I am still taking orders on the Fulkari Air Force Ones. But this is really like it's a step up from one of the shoes I think you guys want to talk to me about, the samosa shoe.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I'm saving the best for the last, man.
This was, I guess, a build up off of the concept which I had with that, where I wanted to take Indian streetwear and kind of elevate it into, you know, modern American streetwear.
Okay.
So I really thought, and I was like, okay, how can I, you know, apply Indian streetwear to American streetwear? And I was like, well, I do shoes, and there's no other real Indian customizer who can stitch fabric onto a sneaker or make a shoe from scratch. So, you know, being Punjabi, the first fabric I tried was the fulkari. And, you know, a little bit more on fulkari is that actually, if you look at it, all the threads on that material, that's all hand embroidered.
Yep.
You know, it was very delicate and very tricky to glue that onto the leather and make sure that it stuck properly. But both of these shoes, I will be releasing them soon, taking proper pictures of them. But yeah, these are the Fulkari Air Force Ones, which is the next step from the Air Force.
Wow, man. We thank you for showcasing them, releasing them to the world on the Oh Kiddan podcast.
Yep.
So, you know, with the fulkari, that was going to be my next question is, because I know there's such delicate, like, you know, handwork, one before the material even got onto the shoe. So is there a material that you use that has been super difficult or challenging, let's say, versus others?
So,
if I was a beginner,
there's definitely a couple of them.
Okay. So if I was a beginner, you say, don't use this as your starting point.
Yeah, 100%. So a couple of them. One example is this Louis Vuitton.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, you know, obviously not just the cost end of things, but Louis Vuitton is very tricky because it's not real leather. It's a vinyl and a canvas blend. Like there's a canvas backing to it. Okay. Depending on which bag you cut apart, the glue could separate. So even with this one, I had a headache where, you know, the glue had separated the canvas and the vinyl. I had to glue the vinyl onto leather to make it stiffer so it doesn't rip. but the glue wasn't holding because the previous glue wasn't coming off.
Mm.
So I had to stitch it in such a way where they held together, and it did end up ripping at one point. And then I had to go back and, stitch over the rip and rejoin it with a zigzag stitch to reinforce it per se. And it was a headache. The other material which gave me the biggest headache was silk.
Silk. Okay.
Silk is such a thin material that when you go to glue it, glue seeps right through, and it shows. So working with thin fabric like that gets very, very, very tricky.
So do you like double layer, triple layer type deals, or?
No, I found a fusion method which has like this special fusion which I found in New York, which allows me to bond it to the leather in a different method than using liquid glue, spray glue. I tried spray glue, I tried liquid glue, I tried heat and bond. None of those worked. They all caused problems with that silk.
Okay.
Still one of the fabrics which I have had some clients which wanted it, so I had to charge extra for it because of the headache.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, picking out fabrics and picking out leathers is very, very tricky. Sometimes you want to go with whatever the cheapest option is, but the cheapest option is not always the right choice. Even with like, for example, these, I couldn't find this exact color green in a cowhide. I wound up using lambskin. Lambskin is very thin, so I have to back it with some cowhide. I got lucky on this one. It came out great. It worked out perfect. I've the past gotten material. It was way too flimsy. I wanted to go last it.
Oh man.
Or there was a shoe which I did where I couldn't find the right color suede. So I used a thinner suede called pig suede.
Okay.
And didn't realize that doesn't have any finish on it.
Okay.
Total natural. Have any waterproofer, stain proofer, one fingerprint, and all the oil from my finger.
Ooh.
It was all stitched. Everything was pretty much to this point ready for the sole.
Oh my God. Ouch.
And I wound up, I was like, this point, I'm not using this material ever again. I'll just pay extra, find the material which I need, the same color, the calf suede, and I started the whole shoe.
Okay. So I noticed you mentioned a lot of different types of like, lambskin,
Yep.
pig suede. Are there other materials that I know you were showing me some samples earlier?
Oh, yes.
That you want to kind of like,
Yeah.
you could share and say like, I worked or I am working with something like, because like the pythons are in the back, right?
The pythons are in the back. Here's an interesting material which I found. I haven't figured out how I'm going to use, but this is actually from
actual,
yep. The actual
different.
total random find. I just randomly found it in New York. So most of the leather which I get is from New York City. I have like 3 or 4 stores which I like to go to. And I pretty much when I go in New York once a week or twice a week. I pretty much make a run to each one to see what they have, which is new, what's different. And if it's a client who needs to meet up with me or has some material which I need to get for them, I'll make a trip and I'll go to all 3 leather stores and I'll find different leather there. But they all specialize in anything from your regular generic cowhide, calf hide, lambskin, pig suede, calf suede, to exotic materials like this. Pan Am leathers, it's ostrich leg. It's the actual leg of an ostrich. This is an industry which I know viewers might have a question like, oh my God, they're cutting up these animals, or it's actually no animal is being cut just for the leather. All this leather is being repurposed from animals which, either passed away naturally or were, had their parts used for other industries, whether it's the food industry or, something like that.
Okay.
So it's not like the leather industry in New York is not like some,
coming from like hunters who are like doing it for a hobby.
Exactly,
right.
Exactly. It's nothing like that. So, using this material is controversial for sure, but it's not like it's inhumane.
Right. It's not gotten with like ill-gotten means.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is the python. This is another python which I have. It's a gray color. It wasn't originally, none of these were originally this color. They've all been bleached, re-dyed, and refinished so that, the color which they are. But again, none of these animals were killed in an inhumane way. This industry is not like bunch of monsters, killing off animals just for their skin to make profits. Nothing like that.
Don't encourage that.
I definitely don't. This one is probably the craziest. I haven't worked with this yet. This is gonna be. It's called a caiman. It's member which is associated with crocodiles and alligators, but on a smaller scale.
Okay. Wow.
I got a great deal on this one. I've been wanting to play around and see how it is gonna be. Make out of it. Haven't decided exactly what yet, but it's different.
Feel of it, right?
Yeah.
All of these.
It's actually all these are very like strong and sturdy leathers.
Trying to stitch through that might be tough, no?
It definitely will be. I think the toughest material to stitch through is actually stingray.
Stingray,
Yes.
There's a street stingray?
Yeah, stingray
What?
is like
wow.
it looks like, you see how the ostrich leg has like little bumps on there?
Yes.
It looks like that. But
Okay.
imagine taking marbles, marbles?
Yeah.
Imagine taking marbles.
Bante.
Right? Bante.
Yeah.
And sawing all of them in half and gluing them onto a table.
Oh,
Okay. And then shrinking it. That's literally what stingray looks like.
Oh my
it's
God.
like little hard, rock hard bumps. And the only way to stitch that, I have to put the needle at least once through the bottom so it pierces through that rock-like formation from the
the
underneath.
exterior, you go from the interior to
Yeah, from the interior. If you try it from the exterior, you will break.
Wow.
That's how strong it is. A lot of these exotic animals, a lot of these, animals, their hides are very, very, very dark. Skin is very tough. Python, one of the strongest materials. I'm sure even this one, I believe this is a hornback caiman. I'm pretty sure the middle area is gonna give me a bit of an issue too.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm pretty sure alligator is a pretty tough shoe. I've made a shoe out of crocodile before.
Okay.
And even that was pretty tough. Another shoe which I made it for a client by do selling because it was also my size. And I was like, damn, this shoe came out so nice.
So this is your not first time with any of these materials? Or the frog, what you said is...
The first, the ostrich I haven't used, the frog I haven't used, even the caiman I haven't used. I've used, like I said, crocodile, which is slightly different. It's thinner. It's not as like
Okay.
stiff, you could say.
Okay.
It's also the gaps between each scale. I don't know if wording's right. I'm not even sure, to be honest. But they're wider.
That sounds yeah.
You know?
Okay.
They're definitely wider. So it's a lot less sturdy. It's more, flexible.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at this, right? And this one right here, I see that you have almost like a stenciled out swoosh symbol here, right? So I'm thinking this is a smaller piece. If we can budget out, right? But something like this, like how do you go about, how do I cut this? How do I budget it? How do I balance it out? Is it trial and error?
It kind of is. It would kind of be, I wound up getting this for a great deal from a store in New York called Pan Am Leathers. So what they do is, I believe every Thursday they do auctions on it.
Okay.
I believe I picked this up from an auction for, maybe $90 to $100. Normally, I believe a caiman can go up to, $150 to $250-ish.
Okay.
For something maybe the size, I want to say.
Okay.
Maybe $175 to $250. But really, like, let's say if a client wanted it, and this is where the catch is with even the customs I make is, like for something like this, like I said, it's $1,800 is my starting point. Want exotic material, now it's going to cost more. If you want the designer material, it's going to cost even more.
Right.
So, like a python, I could tell you I've used a lot. You can get a python from $90 to $150 for that size.
Okay.
A longer one, which can go from, the double the length of this table even, that's going to be around $300.
Sure. Okay.
Out of this small python, which is $150, you could make maybe 2 pairs of sneakers.
Okay.
Depending on how you position them. If you look at the blue ones, if maybe afterwards we could show them. I'm again very particular how I draw it, how I line it up. I like having the spine, which is that middle wider scale, in the middle of the shoe going all the way up and down.
Makes sense.
It gets very tricky when you have a shoe which is a size like 30, where that front panel has to be wide enough to make sure it covers the scales. So for that, I would have to get bigger python.
Got it.
So if you're a size 13, unfortunately, you're going to end up paying more for that Python shoe because now I have to get $300 Python instead of a 150,
Makes sense.
just to make it work.
Makes sense. Wow. Well, this was truly an education with material for me, at least.
Yep.
Anything? You have any more questions?
I have one more question.
Okay.
This is to end the episode.
Oh, no. We can't end it. I still got questions on my favorite shoe.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I hold your question
You go
then.
first.
You hold your question then. So before I get to that, I see those ones up there, the white ones, like they almost look like from distance, they look like scuffed up, like with that, like almost like. So when I saw them initially, and I was like, this is an interesting concept. Like they're more like a scuffed up version.
Right.
And then when I read the caption, I was like, oh, this is marble.
Yeah.
So how do you get, is that like a pre-built leather?
Yeah. So it was a random find. One of the stores again in New York, which I go to, called Leather, Suede, and Skins. What they specialize is in leather with different designs on it.
Okay.
Walked into the store one day and they had 2 different skins. This is actually a second shoe, which I did with the marble. It was big cowhide, the size of this table probably, with a whole marble pattern printed onto it.
Oh, wow.
And it literally, it wasn't like a cheap print.
Right.
Xerox copy print.
Right.
It was like, it looked, she had it out and I swear to God, I thought the table was a marble table.
Oh, wow.
That's how nice of a finish it was. So
Okay.
they had 2 different colors and I picked this up, 3-4 years ago and I was like, I'm going to do something with this. So yeah, that whole shoe is just a marble printed leather, which I then cut up and I made the shoe into.
Okay.
And I actually started that shoe. I wasn't sure if I was going to ever be able to finish it because that shoe is a little different from all these. That's actually the first 1985 build. Shape is exactly like the 1985.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's what the significance for that one is it's unique because of not just the material, but the shape of it is different.
I see. Oh, and now to my favorite shoe.
Okay.
So those are the samosas, right? Those are the brown ones up there. The
Samosas
samosas, the green swoosh is the mint chutney, and then the darker, more maroonish color.
That's the imli.
That's the imli chutney.
Yep.
Tamarind chutney, which matches the laces.
Yep.
What is the inspiration behind that?
So
'cause that is so desi, bro. Like
I know,
it's one of the most desi things I've ever seen in a shoe.
So the inspiration, actually, name is on the tip of my tongue. But a friend of mine from India, he had given me a concept. I was talking to him and I was like, I want to do something a little bit more Indian based. I was planning a trip to India and I was like, what can I do to tie in my culture? And he had given me a concept. He's like, Nike had done a shoe, Air Max, collaboration with I believe a New York artist. And it was called the Nike Air Max
Bacons.
Yeah. And it was a shoe which didn't exactly resemble bacon, but it was based on bacon. It had colors which looked like bacon.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? Like, why don't you do? I was like, okay. So I sat down. I thought, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick 2 cities. And I also, going back before I decided I'm gonna do this, there was also a shoe which I had done called the Staple Pigeons, which were based off of a New York-based Nike Dunk, which Jeff Staple, huge fan of his. Actually graduated from my high school. Had the honor of meeting, and he signed a pair of them for me. But it's a staple New York City shoe. When I made that shoe, I was also like, you know what? I want to do 5 shoes which are based off of New York.
Okay.
So I had done those. I did the Statue of Liberties, and I'm still working on 3 other ones. Then I was like, okay, what can I do about the Indian food? And I was like, I'm going to pick 5 cities of India, which are, food staples. And I'm going to do a shoe based off of city. So the first shoe, since my, based off of Delhi, which is the capital, I decided, okay, what's the main staple food in Delhi? First food which came to my mind was actually kebab.
Okay.
And I was like, kebab or butter chicken. I was like, this whole shoe is gonna be orange and black. Like, it's gonna look like an orange shoe which got scuffed up. I can't really do it.
It's true.
Kebab just looks like it's charcoal on this.
Right,
I was like,
right,
can't really
right.
do kebab. Butter chicken also is gonna be an orange shoe.
Orange shoe, yeah.
Can't really do that. So I was like, All right, the next thing is samosa.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a shoe based off of samosa. So the brown is a very, very, very delicate lambskin, even thinner than this. I backed it with cowhide. The reason I use that though is because it's a very delicate brown which picks up oil stains.
Okay.
And I want it to. The more people who touch it, the more oil stains, the more it's gonna resemble a samosa.
Fried, deep fried.
Yeah, there's deep fried, and there's no area of a samosa which is exactly flat.
Correct.
Everything, every part looks darker, lighter here, you know? So that was the idea behind the brown. And I was like, okay, I have to add the chutney. And then I was like, you know, the touch on top of everything is actually the inside. Inside, I use a very light vanilla-ish, creamish color, represents the potato.
Aloo.
That's 1 out of the 5 cities. I haven't decided all the I've decided the cities. I haven't fully decided all the food.
Okay.
So I believe I'm gonna be doing Kolkata.
Okay.
No, yeah, I think Kolkata is gonna be South India. No, I can't remember my map anymore.
Yeah. Mumbai is
Mumbai is gonna be one.
West.
Mumbai, I think I was gonna do the vada pav.
Okay.
Which is gonna be very similar colors.
I was gonna say yeah.
But I think it's gonna be a low top.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a low top version. I'm gonna have a different inside lining, different color check. I'm gonna have to change it around a bit, but I feel like vada pav is the staple. Or it might be misal pav. Actually, I might do misal pav instead because it's a little different.
Okay.
Not Kolkata. It was Chennai. Chennai.
Okay.
I'm gonna do Idli.
Idli sambar.
Okay. You know, so it's gonna be a very white shoe, I believe. I'm gonna wind up doing maybe a little bit of a yellowish color in there as well, a little bit of green to get the mirch which they eat.
Yeah. And those black dots that they put on the Okay.
You know, so I'll probably do something like that. Probably gonna do something with either Hyderabad or like that area which has to do with like Bengali sweets.
Okay.
You know, just because again they're very vibrant in color.
Is it Pan is a big one there?
Pan is too.
There's a lot of color in
There's
Pan.
a lot, you know, again, that area has a lot of the food has very rich colors.
Right.
You know, and then I have to do something from Punjab. So Punjab shoe is final. I already know the concept of it.
Is it our favorite?
I don't know.
Is that part of it? No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
It is a staple in Punjab. I don't know if it's seasonal. It's kind of seasonal.
Oh,
so
okay. I won't say. I'll ask you after off air.
I could say on.
You can say it on.
I could say on.
Is it makki roti saag? Of course.
It's gonna be saag paneer and makki di roti. You know, so the color of the shoe is gonna be a nice, most likely a deep, rich green color. White check for the paneer, probably a little bit yellow for the makki di roti, and then it's gonna be based off of that.
Wow,
that's the concept, and the whole set is gonna be the food, a taste of India.
Man, that's oh my god, that just I'm hungry. When do we eat? Wow, man, that's awesome.
How long it'll take, I'm not sure, but that's the concept.
and stuff like that actually requires like a lot of time and care, like with every shoe, right? It has time and care and a lot of that those manpowers that you put into it. So that's beautiful, man. I really appreciate you indulging me on that. There's
and I'll let you guys know who exactly because I can't remember his name off the top of my tongue. The inspiration behind like you know doing the food, because I definitely want to give everyone their due diligence,
absolutely,
and their respect as well for helping me with all these processes. So anyone who influenced me or helped me out with this creative process, definitely want to give them credit.
Absolutely. And my final question on the samosa. This is my most favorite part of the shoe.
Okay.
Or favorite part of that whole marketing campaign that you did, bro. When I saw that video drop. When I saw that video drop, man, I lost my mind. I was like, this is one of the GOAT videos of like a shoe drop I've ever seen. Because it was so
that was great.
It was so like Western quality, but with a desi touch to it. And the typical way we receive dosa back home. Yeah. Like akhbar in the newspaper and the way you opened it. And it was instead of a samosa, it was bro. I was like, yo, this man is oozing with creativity. Like it was sick. That was, we can say lit. It was lit.
That was actually my wife's idea.
Okay. Okay. So, but like mine's, right? That's why.
Yeah, that was honestly my wife's idea. We were going back to India, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take them with me. And my original concept, I'll show them to a mochi or a cobbler over there. And she's like, let's contact a wedding photographer and videographer and see how much he would charge. Pitch the idea to him and see if he could do it.
Okay.
So we contacted him and he's like, listen, there's a samosa wala right downstairs from me.
Mm.
Know him really well. I'll talk to him and let's make it. Let's make this video happen.
Who chose the music? That music just made
The
it.
videographer. He literally, when he was shooting it, he's like, I have the song.
Oh, that was the song.
He didn't show us the song or anything. He didn't tell us anything. He's like, I have the song. Just trust me on it.
Because that old nostalgic, throwback feeling. God, bro, that made
came out amazing.
Wow.
You know,
how long did that process take? The whole creative to like really start to finish, shooting, creative, all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it took him maybe a week to do all the editing and stuff.
Okay.
But we shot that in half an hour. You know.
Okay. I mean, single location.
Single location. It was a little bit tricky because convincing the owner of the samosa shop to allow us to put shoes with food.
That's what I was gonna say, right?
But we explained to him that we're not actually mixing the shoe with any of the food or anything. So he wound up, he had an extra of the karai or the karchi. I mean, the
right, because it looks like it came out of the tawa.
So he had an extra one of those. We put the shoe on there, and I was very scared because again, when you have a shoe, like a lot of things can go wrong.
Right.
Like even a little bit of oil on there,
right,
would have made ruined the shoe for photo shoots. Because we hadn't even done the photo shoots. This was just when I met with the videographer, he's like, "Look, this is the only day I have free. Let's do it now."
Okay.
So he put the shoe on the extra thing, and he made sure even for his own social media and stuff, he made a video of them using an extra one. So his customers knew that it wasn't. Then by chance he had extra newspaper, so we wound up putting it on top of the oil, making it look like it went into making it look like it came out of the oil into a napkin, and then wrapped into a napkin, gave it to me, and I was sitting there, and then he edited the rest.
Okay.
So it made it look like there was just samosa going in. And then that shoe was coming.
Came out. And when you opened it, it was a shoe, not a samosa. It was sick, bro. I loved every part of that. So that was like my most favorite part of like.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do all the other foods with a similar concept, but it would be cool, to do something with like, idli sambar and like saag paneer. But I think convincing and having to go to all those places, I don't think would be possible. If I could find someone in Delhi who could do all that.
I mean, I think Punjab, you can get any saag paneer.
You can, but I feel like they'd be more judgmental.
I don't know, because the shoe game has really blown up. And I think they have more awareness to this whole,
true.
Right? Like, for example, we started the show saying what completes the fit.
Yeah.
And then people are more aware of that nowadays.
That's true.
Right? So I think you find the right guy with the right kid might convince us possibly.
Possible. It's definitely possible.
Man, that was fire. I look forward to seeing more if you're able to do it.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. Like I said, it's just a matter of when I'll have the time with the orders I have and
right.
all the concepts. Unfortunately, the sneaker game, is where it is, and does make it a lot harder to stay in the trend as well as do what personal hobbies and personal ideas as well. So
no, and what I love about your work, man, is that if you look at all this stuff here, and this is just a snippet of what you create, right? The range is so vast and there's so much variety that you can't say that he only makes this type, right? Or Jordan's aside, right? But that's a staple.
Yeah.
But like you worked with Dior, right? Gucci, Louis, Fulcari, which is like cheap as anything, right? But you make it work. The marble leather, it's just the range is just vast.
Oh yeah, and so this is just the beginning.
Correct. Right.
This is just the beginning. Doing other silhouettes.
Right.
I've done Reeboks. I've done people on my team. We've worked on Pumas. We've done a K-Swiss before. I will be doing K-Swiss again soon.
Okay.
New Balance this year. Okay. Other even Jordan silhouettes, other Nike silhouettes, Air Force Ones. I'm gonna be doing my One Recon. It could be anything.
Wow.
I've even one of my partners actually next weekend. He's releasing his own sneaker with a a brand called Cookies in New York. They actually they bought his design off of him, and they were doing their first actual release on 420.
Wow.
You know, so anything
Wow.
is possible. And one day, hopefully, you know, I'll design my own shoe from scratch and you know, work on the production of it, get it produced, and actually release that as my own release as well. You know, forward to that too.
Man, God
It'll be
bless.
another process.
Absolutely, man. We wish you all the success, man. All the success, all the growth. And sir, you said you had one last question to close us out.
Yep. What does the next chapter for PS and Who look like? For like any upcoming projects, if you're comfortable sharing.
So, I'm someone who has a lot of ADHD. You guys might have even noticed in this podcast, I might have jumped topics a lot. I'm someone who can't work on just one project. You know, if I'm working on just one shoe, I will get bored of it. I'll get tired of working on it. I'll take a break, and I probably would never come back. So I'm always working on 10 to 15.
Oh wow. Okay.
I have to. If I work on less than that, then it's like everything will take longer.
Okay.
The more work I have, the busier I am, the more efficient I am.
Okay.
You know? So the next few months are going to be swamped with client orders that I'm getting out. And after that, I definitely see me working on new silhouettes. Like I said, Air Force One has been overdue. Jordan 3, the shoe which got me wanting to make shoes from the beginning. New Balance. Hopefully, I'll be working on New Balance for a couple of celebrity clients. K-Swiss as well. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy year.
Oh man, wish you all success with that. And we look forward to seeing a lot more hot lit drops.
Yeah.
Like this, like these shoes and hopefully flying off the shelf.
100%.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, you know, I think I'll be having a Oh Kiddan special soon too.
Oh, that's an exclusive for us.
Yeah,
Who knew?
100%.
Who knew?
100%.
Wow. Well, sir, we this is already special for us. So once again, I couldn't think of a better first guest than my man, PSN, who, and we're signing off.
Guys. I'm so honored.
No, thank you for coming and sharing all this wealth of knowledge for us and even anyone who's listening who wants to get into the shoe game. So if you're interested, just get in, right? Just jump in. Obviously, not with Dior as your starting point.
Definitely, I would say learn, watch videos, you know, screen out the useless ones. Don't just take any advice. I remember the worst advice I've ever seen, unfortunately, was from one of the most creative, inspirational people. Virgil Abloh, rest in peace. He had dropped a shoe, which was an all blue Air Force One. And I remember he told people, just go to Home Depot and just get some blue paint. Don't do it.
Oh, no.
Don't do it.
I mean, wow. Maybe as a trial and test and just throw away.
Test out, you know, practice and try new things. Be open-minded, but know that there's people who have done it, who've made the mistakes and learn from their mistakes.
Yes.
You know? But definitely don't be scared to try.
Controlled trial and error. How about that, right? Like not this type of trial and error. Yeah. No, this was awesome, man. So if you want to share, you teach classes.
Yeah.
Where can somebody come and reach out to you? Or
right now, my classes are all based out of New Jersey.
Okay.
Studio, which we're going to be using in Rahway.
Okay. So they're in person or virtual?
In person. They're all in person. Okay. The reason they're in person is because you will be learning how to sew using that specific industrial strength sewing machine. You'll be learning how to make patterns, how to draw out the patterns, how to cut the leather, all that stuff. Leather is included. Base soles are included in the price. Class will be in Rahway, New Jersey, most likely. And it's very accessible. It's literally right across the Rahway train station.
Okay.
Usually anywhere from 3 days to 5 days, depending on the silhouette. 4 days to 6 days. Yeah, 4 days to 6 days. Jordan 1 lows will be 4 days. Jordan 1 highs will be 6 days. It's not, sorry, let me go back. It's not 4 consecutive days. It's 1 day and then 3 consecutive days for a low top.
Okay.
And then 1 day separate and 5 consecutive.
Okay.
Classes, unlike other people who teach classes, aren't going to be super fixed by schedule. If you get there at 7 in the morning and want to start at 7 in the morning, you know, my goal as an instructor is to make sure that you feel comfortable and know.
Okay.
You know, if you didn't, you're welcome to come back and go over things. But I'm not going to be like, okay, it's 5 o'clock, get the hell out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Comfortable for that day, closing off for that day, close off. I'll make you do all the basic stitch patterns. I'll make you practice throughout.
Okay.
That's what I do differently.
Got it.
But that's the gist of it. You can contact me on my Instagram, send me an email, text, phone number, call me, respond to everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
So much classes are open as long as I'm available that weekend.
Awesome. So you're a busy man.
Try,
Very busy man.
try to be.
So your handle at PS underscore
and underscore.
who. So PSN who. Sir, any parting words for us?
No.
You learned a little bit today?
Yes,
Learn a lot?
I learned a lot.
A lot, right?
Yep.
The math today, I guess. Is that the right word? You understand the math is not math thing, but the math today.
Yep.
So thank you, sir, once again. This was enjoyable.
My honor.
We look forward to a lot more
Definitely.
hot, lit drops from you and some more crazy, amazing design. So
Definitely.
appreciate it. We're signing off. Once again, I want to remind y'all at the end of a letter, PS, right? What your takeaway is this man is the, I've given him a lot of names today, right? Dr. Soul, Doctor Who. He is the, I don't know, Dr. Kicks, whatever you want to call him. He completes your fit. Just remember that. At the end of the day, if you want to finish your fit, whether it's a wedding, whether it's your party, whether it's a prom, whether it's a whatever, a game you want to attend, impress somebody, the man to call. End of the day, he is the man to call. So with that, remember to subscribe to at Oh Kiddan on all our social media platforms. That's at Oh Kiddan on TikTok, IG, YouTube. You'll find this young man there. Usually I'm his support, I'm his help. You'll find me there. That's all I got, man. This was one of our longer episodes. So
Yeah.
we'll see what we can do with it, how we're going to break it out. But there's a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of gems here. So if you're looking to get into this game, take advantage, right? The wealth has been shared, so you can't say that I didn't know. It's YouTubeable. It will be YouTubeable. All I'm going to say is peace. See you later. Alvida, Avjo, Kudafis, and Sat Sri Akal.
Peace. Oh Kiddan!